My algorithm has officially lost it. This week, I got served a video of someone hand feeding a toad in like a little mossy teacup while whispering, like, I guess it was like affirmations. And I liked it. But also, what is happening? Hi, I am Andriana, and this is where I like to overthink pop culture and nostalgia just enough to make it meaningful. Today, we're talking about why are we all suddenly obsessed with mushrooms, foggy meadows, and like blurry 2004 computer screens. And what does it actually say about us to like these things? Spoiler, it's not just about frogs and fairy lights. It's also about softness in a sharp, sharp world. A core is internet slang originally from the word hardcore. In music, it meant like the most intense, distilled version of a genre. Online, it's evolved to just basically be a way of labeling the ultimate form of a thing, an aesthetic, or like a vibe. It sounds like this should be gibberish, but I feel like all of my like millennials will just and Gen Z will just know what I mean, which is crazy because like boomers are not going to know what any of that meant. It has evolved into a way of labeling the ultimate form of an aesthetic or like a vibe. So think Barbiecore is hardcore Barbie. Normcore is hardcore plain. Like I'm going to the mall in my like finest khaki pants, like plain. And for a lot of these people, these cores become like a coping mechanism. And I think we make coping mechanism like a really bad word, but like there's like a lot happening and like we do need to cope. So I don't mean that as a dig at all. But anyways, the cores become a coping mechanism, turning big, messy feelings like anxiety, burnout, and loneliness into something that you can see, style, and control. It's like building a tiny world where you feel safe, even if it only exists like on your desk or in your bedroom or on your TikTok feed. Okay, now I'm curious if your life had a core, what would it be? And don't say tired core because that one's mine. We are going to focus on three of the internet's weirdest and most wonderful cores. Cottagecore is the romanticized dream of rural life. So think soft lighting, baking bread, reading in sunbeams, wearing linen, and pretending that your depression would vanish if you just lived in a stone cottage with a goat named Clementine, who's emotionally unavailable but in a really rustic way.
I don't know what that means.
Underneath the vibe, it's about craving slowness, simplicity, and the kind of domestic autonomy that doesn't involve like Amazon Prime deliveries. This is the core that probably calls to my soul the most. And it's what I'm literally working towards is getting my family to like a family farm. So by the way, one of the ways I'm doing that is by building up this channel. So if you're enjoying this so far, you might as well go ahead and hit the subscribe because it really helps this mom get that dream a little bit closer. So anyways, all right, so goblincore. This is the feral sibling of cottagecore. Goblincore celebrates the messy, the muddy, the ugly beautiful parts of nature. Frogs, moss, acorns, like rocks you just find. It's also beloved in many neurodivergent communities where collecting and texture spotting aren't just hobbies, they're sources of joy and grounding. I said I really like cottagecore. There are several frog statues in my house right now, and I do have a rock collection. Or maybe I fit into this next one, actually. Weirdcore, like being 9 years old, lost in a mall food court in 2003, and there's a Windows XP screensaver looping in the background. Weirdcore is nostalgic, dreamlike, and a little unsettling. Maybe even a lot unsettling sometimes, actually. It's like running into your old math teacher at the grocery store, and it's like, what do you do? It's liminal spaces, pixelated landscapes, glitchy textures, things that feel almost familiar, but not quite. It taps into the internet generation's collective nostalgia and unease all at the same time. Together, these cores feel like the internet put its anxiety like in a terrarium and then like tried to vibe with it. Which is like another thing. Does anybody else like love terrarium, vivarium, aquarium YouTube? Because I love that part of YouTube. The cores. Why are they everywhere again? And the reason will, of course, say more about us than it does about the moss.
Moss, 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 moss.
Is it because of mushrooms? Or is it because the world is on fire and we're all looking for a portal? Hashtag goblincore has over 500 million views on TikTok. And that's not just frogs. That's a full-blown cultural mood. Why I think Gen Z is obsessed. Gen Z has grown up being told to build a brand before they even really had time to build personalities. These aesthetics push back against that. Cottagecore and goblincore don't care about LinkedIn endorsements. They care about whether your sourdough starter is happy and if your moss patch is thriving. Goblincore in particular says you're allowed to be messy, weird, and still be totally lovable. After lockdown, people wanted comfort, earthiness, and fantasy escapes. And when you're staring down climate change headlines, spending your free time tending to a mushroom terrarium feels like rebellion and self-preservation. These aesthetics create low-stakes worlds where you can feel safe and in control. Two things that the real world hasn't offered much of lately. Weirdcore especially taps into early internet memories, Windows XP screensavers, late night flash games, blurry childhood photos. It's like Tumblr 2013 wandered into TikTok and just started like haunting the algorithm in like, I guess the best way. I don't know. I still don't know how I feel about weirdcore. And remember, this isn't just a your For You page looks weird thing. The numbers actually back it up. Remember, hashtag goblincore has over 500 million views. Etsy reported a 652% spike in mushroom and fairy item sales during the last big goblincore wave. A lot of people aren't just dressing for the job they want anymore. They're dressing for the emotional ecosystem they wish that they could live in, which seems, to be somewhere between like a hobbit hole and a thrift store, but still good for them. Good for us. The psychology beneath the aesthetic. It's not just moss, it's medicine. In a world that feels like it's constantly on fire, these aesthetics give us a sense of micro control, rearranging, our bookshelf by color, or tending to a patch of moss every day, or however you grow moss, curating like a mood board that feels like home. It's self-soothing, like a weighted blanket but with mushrooms, of course. Cottagecore and goblincore invite people to step outside of the endless performance of Instagram perfection. No contouring tutorials, no hot girl walk playlists. I didn't know hot girl walks was a thing until I started trying to meet new people in my new city, like make some new friends. And like a lot of people want to do these hot girl walks, and I'm like, I don't want to do that. Goblincore especially says your chipped mug is beautiful, your mismatched socks are valid, your rock collection is art. And no, I'm not referencing my rock collection, I just mean in general. It celebrates imperfection. And for many neurodivergent people, that's not just refreshing, it's liberating. All right, here's where I put on my self-care hat. The space you live in directly affects how you feel. These aesthetics are more than just vibes. Okay, they're physical reminders to slow down and design a life that feels good in the now, not just when you've made it. They're not just rejecting burnout culture. They're DIY therapy with moss, mood lighting, and a side of nostalgia. How to goblincore your life? A little. You don't have to buy a frog, but you could rearrange your bookshelf. You don't have to live in a cottage or start hoarding shiny rocks, but it is fun, so I do recommend it. Anyways, these aesthetics work because they remind us that our environment can actually care for us. And that's something that you can start building today without having to turn your room into a hobbit hole, unless you want to, and you can do that too. Tip 1, add one texture that feels grounding. It could be a fuzzy blanket, a wood grain mug, a book so worn that the spine is basically like confetti. The goal isn't picture perfect decor, it's creating one spot that that feels like it belongs entirely to you. It's not performance, it's not for Instagram, it's not to post. It's not for when people come over. We're not hosting. It's not for hosting. It's just for you. So add one grounding texture. Tip 2, try lighting a candle at dusk instead of scrolling. It sounds small. It does sound small, but it's really not. Like, think about actually doing it like every day. Like, it's not actually small. So if you start lighting a candle each evening at dusk, then what that will become is a signal to your brain that it's time to slow down. Also, firelight makes everything feel like a fairy tale, even like reheating leftovers or like cleaning out the litter box. Tip 3, declutter based on how things feel, not how they look. Marie Kondo asks if things spark joy, and I love that. She's an icon. I like to also sometimes ask though, do these objects make me exhale? If it doesn't, then maybe it's time to thank it for its service and let it go. Tip 4, Create a weird corner in your space. Okay, so this is like somewhere where you can get like a little feral. A cluster of trinkets, thrift store art, maybe like a rock with googly eyes, whatever makes you smile every time like you walk past it. If you were to design your own weird corner in your home, what's the first thing you would put in it? I might be taking notes for my own goblin lair. Tip number 5, name your houseplants. Oh, I am so serious about this one. You should name you should name every living thing that like you voluntarily bring into your home. Name your plants. Talk to them, sing to them, complain about your boss. No one's judging. Honestly, the plants are hopefully rooting for you. You get it? Rooting.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
Maybe it's not just about the frogs and the fairy lights. Maybe it's about making tiny worlds that feel safe, warm, and a little weird on purpose. And remembering that you're allowed to live there, not just visit when like life feels too sharp. If this conversation has made you want to rethink your space, your pace, or even how you end or start your day, I write a newsletter that might be like your new favorite thing. It's called You Needed This. It's like my little virtual goblin corner on the internet. So my weird corner, I just kind of send it out every week. But in that corner, we press pause once a week. It's a lot less about memes. It's a lot more about meaning and value and purpose. We slow down, we reflect, we figure out how to make our actual lives feel more like the ones we daydream about. So if you're ready for fewer algorithms and for actual intention in your inbox, the link is in the description box down below. It's free, warm, and I think you're gonna like it. At the end of the day, the cores aren't about being on trend. They're about building tiny worlds that care for you, whether that's in a forest, in a notebook, or just like the corner of your desk. Thank you for hanging out and overthinking with me here today. Quick reminder, this is a newer channel and I am trying to build a little legacy for my children. So if you enjoyed the video, if it is your vibe, would you give it a like and go ahead and subscribe? And every subscribe is one more Lego in my kids' vast collection. So help this mama out and hit that subscribe button. It really helps new channels more than you could imagine. Make sure you go forth and boldly claim a nap. You deserve it.